Okay, it's day 156, and this is part six, and this has been a big day. It was great to see American Intelligence Media do this show about the SS. They took the E out. I think people may have remembered 3 or 4 days ago I was talking about that there's this core inner group of the 8,000 or 10,000 in all of SES. That's this core inner SS group. So this is a great graphic, and they did a good show about this, and they talked about it being 500 DOJ lawyers. And I had talked about it being kind of a DOD DOJ thing. And the Michael McKibben had gotten a document that had shown that there was actually 500 in this group, which is great to have that validation. And I just wanted to follow up. And I know this is going to be difficult for people to believe, but the executive structure and the organizational structure here is really more 50 different departments and groups of 10, or actually teams of 11. And you're actually only going to have, out of each functional team, so there's 50 different agencies that I want to dominate the budget for, It's mostly through the 40 different agencies of DOD and DHS and Foreign Affairs. Those are the key. And so the AWAN type structure here. But teams of 11, and I believe the teams of 11 are kind of 2 support guys, 8 field guys, and then 1 kind of political officer that can kind of overrule anything that team does. And in the Army sense, it would be like my dad would have been one of the radio guys. So they would have 2 radio guys that provided support and logistics to the 10 field operatives. And that's the ratio, I believe, for real lawyers to actual just FBI agents or CIA agents or people that have been out there doing things like stealing, lying, destroying evidence, planting evidence, etc. Because the way you get from out here in the red into the middle, into the inner 500, is you will commit crimes for the middle. That's how you get in. The pathways are crime, and just like organized crime. I know how hard that is going to be for people to believe, but that is exactly how it works. And I'll give you a quick example. Lisa Page would be one of the attorneys on the team of 10. You would also have Lisa Barsumian, which is Rod Rosenstein's wife. And then the other 10 people would be the inner JTTF team. There would be all the people we've been talking about, Mueller, Comey, McCabe, Rosenstein, etc., as agents, Priestap, McGarity, etc., on that inner circle team. That team is going to have each of those guys is going to be a leader of one of these teams to dominate all the spending inside a group, especially DHS. So I believe it is Andy McCabe for the Awans. I think the Awan team we've seen is about 6 or 7 or 8 people. And then you've got, Andy running it, and then perhaps Peter Strzok or someone else like that. So I don't know all the assignments and who all the different departments are and how everything's organizationally structured. But I always try to take these big numbers and 500 and then actually pry them apart, because you're going to see a repeating structure, just like a chemical structure or any other kind of building structure. When you go floor to floor, you're going to see a repeating structure in here where it's not actually a big glom of 500. It's actually 50 teams of 10. I think actually the number is 11, very much like the 11 here in the SS. And I'll just say that. And I wanted to say one other thing, and Jason's been just doing some great work on this same topic with Field O'Connell, of course, who's the leader in all this, and Christine Marcy. And I watched it, and I just think this long format interview is so important. But I saw at the end that Jason still has this kind of attack on this pedophilia thing from Hollywood. And I just want to say, every minute I spent with Jason Goodman, he was completely honest with me. He was a very devoted producer in Hollywood and so forth. I completely believe him that he never met Bryan Singer. I do not believe he ever had anything to do with anything with any underage person ever, in any off camera or on camera ever. So I just want to say that I support his work. It's important we all come to support his work, as well as the work of America Intelligence Media. These are the people that are actually alternative media that's actually producing results. And so I just want to say that strong statement of support for Jason and the great work he's doing, Joe, the whole team, everybody there who's worked there. And there's been some people I've had questions about. DeFango is a is a psyop, is disrupt. He's disrupt and diffuse. Don't listen to what he says. Jason's doing great. I think the key for the audience, for all of our audiences, is to keep pointing us in the right direction. Keep unlocking the structure here. We've made a lot of progress in just a couple of days. We were at 10,000. Now we're really at the core of the 500. Now the job is to undo this core. I think you're going to see it's a team of 8 people that have come up through the ranks. You're going to see Andy McCabe's not a real lawyer. All these people that are being made lawyers are really just agents. The only reason they're lawyers is because they have attorney-client privilege and they don't have to testify. You're going to find if it was milkmaids that didn't have to testify, there'd be 500 milkmaids. There are a couple of lawyers on a shared Dropbox. Usually these shared Dropboxes, is about 10 people on a shared Dropbox. I think it's going to be 11. Here's the 11. I think it's going to be 11, but we'll see. But the key here now, the next level is actually getting to actually what's happening. Looking at each of the individual people, see if they're really lawyers or not, see which ones are really lawyers. Lisa Page is really a lawyer. Lisa Barsumian is really a lawyer. These other people, Rod Rosenstein's really a lawyer, but Priestap's not a lawyer. Andy McCabe, not a lawyer. James Comey, barely a lawyer. Mueller, barely a lawyer, just made it by a skinny. But there are others that just never went to law school, and Andy McCabe is going to be one of those. So that's my comment for tonight. And this was on a day that we hit with Mohammed Tahirawan, which I think is a much bigger story. But tomorrow we'll see as the day unfolds.